Good morning. We are back. Coffee talk. Pilgrim, how are you? I've got my coffee.
I've got my cup of tea, Royal Blend for His Majesty these days, on the correct side of the Atlantic. And I had a good weekend last weekend doing memorial stuff, which is fantastic. Met a few of the old boys and, chewed the cud and swung the lantern and talked the talk, but never walked
Yeah.
the walk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You just talked all kinds of crap, didn't you?
Yeah, just talk loads of crap. You remember when? That sort of
Oh,
crap,
yeah. All the.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was good though.
Good,
Yeah, that
man.
was
Good.
good. It was up at the National Orbitorium. We've now got a National Orbitorium, Memorial Orbitorium, like you guys have got, uh, when you do your Rolling Thunder and everything.
Oh, really?
And yeah, so we've now had that. I mean, it's been knocking around for about 15, 16 years now, but it's not that well known. But it also does, like, all the police, the ambulance service, the fire service, and everything else. So it's just not the military. But
Right.
yeah, it's quite a swanky sort of affair. There's got a restaurant there and
What
lots of exhibits and all sorts of
what
stuff.
city is it in?
It's just north of Lichfield. So the address is Alwas, which is Alwas, I think. But
Alwaz.
Alwas. But I'll send you a link to it anyway. So it's quite cool. And
Very
it's
cool.
got, it's like every big memorial. It's got massive circular. It's built as a replica of Stonehenge, but as if Stonehenge was completely formed, and the standing stones of Stonehenge have become walls. So it's circular with all the names of the fallen on it. So
That's
you
not
walk
a.
around in like a yeah.
It's not a very mini one in danger of being trampled by dwarves or anything like that.
No, no. A
Okay.
hobbit like me had to get on a stool to read all the names at the top.
That's cool, man. Good. I'm glad that worked out. Good morning, Gator, Fast Red Horse, Stickler, Odd Dog, Wayne. Thanks for the resub, my friend. Much appreciated. Yeah, we did a astronomy last week.
You did, yeah, I did watch that. That was
Yeah,
quite cool
I'm
with
pretty sure my
Mr. Blow, Chris Candy, whatever he calls himself these
I'm,
days.
I'm pretty sure my brain exploded somewhere along the way.
Yeah, I lost it when he started to talk about the very beginning, the start.
Yeah.
I can't even remember. I was like, what? And then you two got into it.
Uh,
You were well into it. You were like, oh yeah, what about blah 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 blah. And I was going,
that
whatever.
was great, man. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that greatly, man.
Uh,
What an
cool.
interesting like niche hobby that is. You know, it's
Yeah,
just like.
yeah,
And I find it interesting that he's just completely stepped away from the gaming. All that stuff he did,
yeah,
the all the
yeah,
flight sim, the
yeah.
racing sim, all the stuff. But he
Well,
definitely is like kind of guy that goes all in.
I know he's. I think I said to him, I think you've got an addictive personality because you pick something up and then you go like mad for it. But I did say to him, what that rig that he was given a console, an F-15 console, wasn't he? With
Really?
the whole yeah, he was, whoever designs them gave him one to fit at the front of his gaming rig, so he had all the correct switches, buttons, dials, and everything else in real life in front of him with a head-up display and everything. He was given that because he was doing so well with BFM and that,
Yeah, yeah.
and obviously it was for I don't know whether it was one of the gaming companies gave it to him or something, but
Yeah.
anyway, I mean, it was like 5 grand's worth of kit, and it's now sat packed in the garage. You're like, really? So yeah, but
Well, interests come and go, I guess.
and I guess he's like got a massive brain, doesn't he? It's like all you pilots.
Not
And
us though.
so he had, well,
We
not
just
all of you.
no, I mean us, you and me. We just play the same game forever.
Yes, yeah, well, I got a massive brain. I can't cope with it. You know what I mean?
Astronauts. Yeah, that was cool, man. That's cool. Welcome back. Glad to have you back. I'm glad you had a good time, guys.
Yeah.
Welcome to everybody else. Coffee talk today. Let's see what we got. What do we have on the menu today? We got some channel news. 100 battle challenge.
How's that going?
It's going all right. I finished the. I think I mentioned it quickly last week, but we'll talk about it a little more. I finished the Chrysler K.
Yes,
Did okay with that. The Rack 5-1 had a decent win rate with that. The
yeah,
Sturv 81 was the week before.
that's right. You didn't. Was that the one you didn't really get on with?
Yes.
I can't remember. Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I sort of went through the numbers 2 weeks ago, but it was a case of the numbers are basically the same as the rest of my tier eights, and I
All
just
right.
happened to have a 49% win rate, which was crazy. But here's what I've been doing this week is working on the British wheeled tank. So this is the AEC, which is the tier five.
Starter.
Yeah, the
Yeah. I've
starter.
just got that now. Yeah.
Yep. So I put 17 battles on that to unlock the Stag Hound. That only took, and I unlocked all of the modules with free experience. I did the same thing with the Stag Hound. 17 battles only. Plus, I bought some times fives with my coins
Yeah.
from the Twitch coins. So I have
Yeah.
about 20 times fives. So that made me race through those really quickly. I am currently on, and here's the Stag Hound. That's what it looks like. Just for everyone's information, I'm running a turbo optics and vents on the Stag Hound. I actually switched over. I think I'm going to go put vents instead of a rammer because this thing's sitting at 3.88 gun loading anyway.
Right.
So I think I'm going to switch over to the vents on this.
Oh, well, you're on the FSV now.
FSV Schedule A. Yeah, this is the tier
Yeah.
7. Now these are mediums, Pilgrim. We were talking about it earlier.
I was going to say, what's your setup then? Because
I know, right?
I was going to put a light crew in it, all sorts of things. I didn't click. It's medium.
Well, you can, but then you'd have to retrain them, and then they wouldn't be a light
Retrain,
crew.
yeah.
So this is funny. I will have next week the AEC review will come out, and the Stag Hound. I'll probably work on that today, and have that maybe later in the week or next week. But so the first two will be out pretty quickly. Obviously, I'm still working on the tier 7. I unlocked all of the modules here except the gun because I ran out of free experience.
Right.
So now I have 96,000 to crank out on the Saladin for the tier 8.
Right.
I think like a general observation is these things are kind of schizophrenic. They don't really have a purpose.
No, I was just about to say, visually they're like a light tank because we've all seen the French wheelies.
Right.
The armament on them seems pretty mediocre, average. Let's call it average. And the armor as well as the gun seems average. So it's a little bit hard to find a niche for it, isn't it? I guess.
I mean, you kind of nailed it without even playing it, just looking at it. It goes fast forward once in a straight line, but they don't turn
Yeah.
well. They certainly don't turn like they're glued to the ground, like the ridiculous physics on the French wheeled tanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're decently fast backwards. It's nice that it goes 33 backwards because you can back out of stuff pretty quickly. Like, as you noted, there's no armor on these things. This one has 35 hull and 40 turret, and that's a tier 7. So a significant amount of HE is going to pen this thing.
Yeah.
It's got okay camo at 23, but remember, it's not a light. So unlike the French light tanks, it doesn't maintain its camo on the move. So
No.
you can spend a bunch of time putting camo on it, but you don't get the same benefit a light tank would get.
Yeah.
View
It
range.
might be well worth having a good crew with camo. You know, the camo skill.
Yeah, and I just put camo on my commander actually because I was curious. I probably had a better option, but I was curious what it would do, and it did increase the. I was surprised by how much actually the crew camo stuff increases it. So once all three guys get it, but there's the other problem. It's 3 crew members, so they're really stressed. Other than the driver, which only has 1 qual, the commander has 3, and for some stupid reason, they've put a loader on him as well as the loader on the gunner,
Wow.
which means that's if you want intuition to be full, then you've got to put intuition on 2 guys, and that the commander already has 2 quals. You know, it's
Yeah.
that's kind of my position on the reviews is they don't. What do? They don't. There's nothing
Yeah.
they do well. Nothing. There's no leverage. Like, yeah, it's got some depression, but you don't have a turret. Yeah, it's got some speed.
No.
It's got some speed, but you can't maneuver. You know.
Well, even the guns are insipid, aren't they? I mean, well, you know, the 6-pounder on the tier 5 probably is the best out of the lot, I would say. When you start looking at like the Staghound, I think it's a 75mm gun, which is the top gun. tier 6. It's not doing an awful lot.
I mean, you've
You know,
got tier
not at all.
6. I think you've got some tier 6 mediums doing 240. You certainly have tier 7 mediums
Yeah,
doing 240. This thing's top gun's 150. Now the pen's nice. It's like all those British 2-pounder
yeah,
kind of guns. They all have pretty dang good pen,
yeah,
which I guess sort of makes up for some of the alpha. They fire fast, so that the DPM tends to be decent to slightly high.
yeah.
So if you were really looking for something, I have this one the way it's set up and I'm running optics, so I have to use a spot to do this. I've got the
Right.
two optics things on my commanders. I'm also running food, but it at least gets up past 445. Not by much. It gets to 458. But at
Yeah,
least it's full range. Now, it's the funny thing about a 7 is a 7 now has to start dealing. A 6 does to sometimes, but a 7 has to start dealing quite a lot with CVSs.
yes,
With
yeah,
with 8s and above having CVS, 8s and 9s having CVSs. So if
yeah,
you're like, oh, okay, so I'll just be a speedy spotting medium, the best.
yeah,
Look, that's always a good idea with any tank. The more spotting
yeah,
damage you get, the better. This one isn't particularly great at it, other than speed to get to the spot.
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's like it's almost it's all. Now, this is a silly thing to say, but it's almost encouraging YOLOing. You know that you're not going to survive, so you might as well just go out and spot a whole load of tanks and then die.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like,
Crack
okay,
on.
I'm gonna try to leverage whatever strengths this thing has. I have some speed, so I'm gonna try, and I'm relatively small, which is nice. I'm gonna try to get in some forward spotting places, and maybe I can work on some spotting. And I have a replay, I think, on the Staghound that'll show that. But you get a tier 8 with a CVS, or you get an
Yeah,
EBR come by and spot you. You get whatever it. You have no mobility to get out of there that well
no,
anyway, and you don't really have that great a camo. It's okay, especially if you're not moving. It gets better, like any tank. But
yeah,
that you're a secondary. That's a secondary quality of the tank, and it doesn't even have a first. You know what I mean?
no.
Everything with this tank is secondary and tertiary, and there's no
Yeah.
first quality. It has no. I don't know. It's really weird.
Well, I can't. I'm finding it hard to define its role as a medium. And this is why I thought it was a light tank, because then I thought, well, at least it's got moving camo. So you could play it similar to the French without all the French advantages they've got. The stupid, incredible armor and incredible turning circle and all the rest of it. In fact, the French wheelie should be what the British medium is all it's like, I think. And Wayne said it in chat. If they'd made the French wheelies like the Brits, then it would have been fine. They would have had the advantage of having camo on the move.
I mean,
I don't know.
it basically is a light tank that they've up tiered to medium and stripped its
Yeah.
camo. I mean, at the end of the day,
Well,
that's if let's take a look at other tier 6 lights, because it's just not even that much better than a tier 6 light, to be honest with you.
in real life, and I do know it's real life, and that wargaming take huge liberties with IRL, but these were reconnaissance vehicles. All of this line was a
Right?
reconnaissance
Yeah,
vehicle
100%. Yeah,
for the main
that's
battle
right.
tank,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
battalions. So you'd have a little platoon of these guys bombing around, spotting the enemy, sitting in bushes and doing like a light tank does, and then your MBTs would roll on with all the info. So they've taken it out of role, called it a medium, and give it none of the benefits of a medium tank. Well done, wargaming.
I mean, that's a total head scratcher to me, and I completely agree with what you just said. I can't comprehend how these things came out as mediums and what the purpose of that was. I mean, I guess they just didn't want to have more lights in the game or something. I don't get it. Let me get these guys set up because I'm kind of curious how. I think it probably
See what the
has.
comparison is.
Yeah, I think they have more. It's got more. It's probably got some more DPM than other lights. I'm going to get rid of these two. No, let's actually have the T21 because the T21 is kind of a medium itself. I mean, it's a light version of the T20 medium,
Yeah.
so it's a weird situation.
Morning, Pale Jedi. I am back. No more stars at night.
So the Staghound's got more pen by a little bit and a little bit more alpha than all of these tanks. It's got, I mean, the gun loading's pretty similar. It's got, well, I mean, the Crusader's got about the same DPM. The T-37 comes close. It's got quite a bit more DPM than some of these others. It's got more hit points by 150 or so, or a little bit less than that. And then it's got less armor than every single one of these. So they've added some hit points, added some DPM, but zero staying capability.
Yeah.
I mean, it's conceivable,
Yeah,
especially on a
yeah.
2801, that you bounce a couple times.
Yeah.
Crazy.
No, Gator, I don't think they're not overpowered. I think it's hard to find a niche for for this tank line. It's doesn't quite do a medium's job like you'd expect, and it's not a light. So it's very difficult to find a play style for this line of tanks. That's what we're saying.
Oh shoot! Wait a minute. I've got this still configured. It's like, why is this thing so much better? I had a bunch of extra stuff.
You've
on
got
it.
stuff on it.
Yeah, hold on. So that's going to make it worse. Yeah, I brought down the DPM a little bit, but it still remains. It's actually less than a Crusader, but it's more than most of the others. Not that much more than the T-37. And the speed is 60, so it's the same speed as and a little less than some of these guys. The camo is not too far off. It's 14. You guys can't see it because my cranium is in the way, but its concealment is 14 stationary and 10 on the move. And these other guys are 16 up to 16. And then its view range is about the same other than the T-21 and the 2801 go out to 380. This thing's at 360. So it's just, it literally is a slightly upgraded light tank that's been made a medium and loses its moving camo.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a observation that's quite surprising. Cliffy says he feels they're fast pew pew TDs.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. So you got. I think you have two options with them, three kind of, but the third one is a mid to late game thing. You can get to firing positions quickly or to spotting positions quickly, and it depends on the map and the
Right.
the other side's matchmaker.
Yeah.
So you can do the role of a light tank ish, or you can get to TD spots and plink away. Kind of painful with its alpha though, because you're just fire support rather than nuking guys. And then mid to late game, it does have speed to get around the map and do stuff. Although the maneuverability will kind of hurt your feelings on occasion. That's about the best I can say about it.
Okay, well, we'll see how it pans out as people start to move up to tier 10.
Yeah.
Artillery Bug says that his tier 8 feels better. So I guess the higher tiers you go, perhaps the more use it will be. I don't know. I mean, I've only just got the 5 at the moment. So we'll see.
The stats just hit the stat sites, the first early stats, and the lower tier ones are, in the top third of stats, and the higher tier ones are actually doing well. Now this is early adopters, very early. Blah blah blah. A lot of good players probably trying to 3-mark them, stuff like that. So that's going to drive the stats up as usual. We'll see where they pan out, but it's not like they walked into the game mid to low. But that's where they are. We'll see.
Well, yeah, and like we said earlier on, Kedge has just repeated really what we said earlier on. HE will take them out so easily because their armor's so pitiful.
Dude, Artie especially, if you get pinned somewhere where you can't move, and you're getting hit by Artie.
I never thought about that,
man, I've been absolutely mullered by Artie constantly. Yeah. They're just, even the little Arties. I got hit for 400 something from a Crusader SP. Yeah.
Just throw your hands up in desperation, don't you?
Yeah, I mean it pens everything because it's so lightly armored.
Oh man.
All right, so
well, they're in the Christmas boxes. That's all I can say.
Yeah. So I'm working a whole bunch down here. Iron Arnie, 234B, Lowe's is Sherman. I've got some tier 6s on the list now as well because we've restarted the new battle pass, which we'll talk about in a bit. So there's quite a few tanks in here I'm working on. The BZ58-2. Played the G-Row even, so the problem with that is I probably won't get to 100 battles on my tier 6s because I run out of battle pass points before I get there, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, well, that's understandable. But you're starting to creep up the tiers now, aren't you? I think you get to a point where you don't have many tier 6s left to do your 100 battles on.
Yeah,
Am I
I almost
right?
had none. I think one at one point. But what's funny now is I've got that Loza Sherman because I picked it up. I had the G
Another
row.
Sherman.
I had the G row,
Yeah.
and now I've got the Staghound.
There you
So
go.
actually,
So
now
you're
I
starting
have
to
I have
collect.
three. The problem with the stupid Brit tanks coming out 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is I went backwards 600
Yeah.
battles on my challenge pretty much immediately.
Dang it, Wargaming! Don't you realise I'm in the middle of
Yeah,
something here?
counting the Sherman, it's backwards 700.
Well, do you know,
So
just as before we finish with the British line, what I find confusing, should we call it confusing? You go to the UI and you click on and you see a little percentage sign on the tech underneath the tech tree, and you think, oh, it's a Brit medium line. They're giving a percentage off, but no, it's not, is it? It's the Chinese and the German that they're giving percentages off. But you want to grind the Brit line. Why don't they put a percentage off the line that's new and needs to be grinded?
oh, they
Why
don't do
don't they
that.
do
As a
that?
matter of fact, they avoid that for anywhere for 6 months to a year. So you'll
Yeah.
notice if they have a sale, like a general sale on all tier 6s and 7s, or that maybe their birthday thing, they'll do 80% off, and then it graduated to less off for the tier 10. You will note that the new lines are never in that.
They never are they?
No,
Never. Because it's
no.
so obvious for me. I thought, oh, new line, saw the little symbol. I wonder if it's the Brits. No, it's the Russians. And I tell you what, it is on the Russians as well. I bet it's something nobody ever wants. Well, no, actually, it's
It's
the
the
KV
140,
line,
isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it's going. Yeah, it's the KV line going up to T28 anyway, and then onwards. Fair enough. I was just about to say.
I think it's
might
the
come to
140 line, actually, is it not?
It is the 140 line. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
And then the German is. Oh, I know why the
yeah.
German is, because the Jagdpanzer E100 is top of the tree thing. Isn't
So
it?
is the
That's why
140. Yeah, so that's why the
yeah,
two
that's it. And the
have the
140 is
percentage.
as well. Got you. Got you.
Yep,
Got you.
that's
There you
why.
go. That's why. Of course.
So AEC review next week.
Cool.
Staghound later in the week or the week after.
So what's the loadout for it then for you?
I
'Cause
am
I've just got it. I've got nothing in it now.
Staghound. I'm running turbo
Right.
optics and vents.
All right.
And
What's
right
the,
now
what's the
for
AEC?
this FSV, I've got the AC was the same setup,
Oh, is it?
turbo optics vents. I think I'm gonna.
Because you're using your crew as the camouflage thing. You don't need to put a camo net on it or anything like that, do you?
No, I wouldn't bother with a camo net. Although I suppose if you're really gonna try to get serious about spotting, that might be an option. But I think there's way better options than that.
Okay.
So I'm probably gonna switch this gun rammer out for vents, based on it's already got pretty decent DPM.
Okay.
Someone said you can lose a lot of money on these things. That's absolutely true. Low alpha guns are kind of dangerous for that because they tend to be fairly expensive, and in terms of firing, they're more expensive. So this is 3,200 for this thing's shell at tier 7.
Okay.
This one is also 3,200, but that's a heavy same gun, I think, actually, or close to it. That's a 17 pounder, and what's this? 75 millimeter. I think that's the same,
Yeah.
roughly the same
It
gun.
doesn't change until it gets to the 90 mil at tier 9, I think, by the looks of it. And then I think the tier 10 has a 110
Yeah.
with special name 110. But yeah, it's all 75 mil, which is what I was saying. It's like, it's poo. But it was never designed to have a big gun.
Yeah, these are all the fantasy guns that it never really had or was designed to have. Okay, so that's the review stuff. Battle Pass, I'm on 9 so far, so I'm actually a little
Really?
bit,
I'm
yeah,
on 1.
a little bit behind the power curve. But I did buy the $10 thing again this
$10
time.
thing.
Yeah, so you get these guys. There we go. We get the Battle Pass missions here, and these are the ones. They're pretty easy to get. You get up to, I think, 20 levels of Battle Pass once you get all the coins here,
Yeah.
tokens, and then you got a bunch of other goodies, basically training booklets and stuff like that. And then at the end of it, you get the commander. So you'll get a hope. Hope will show up.
You will show up.
So I'm doing that. And that's it for Channel News, man. You ready to shill for the people?
Should we get the blue lights going? I think there's a lot to shill today.
All right. Well, I already started the shilling a little bit because we've got. As soon as I get over here into the premium shop, we go. As soon as I find this thing, where is it? There we go. Sweet. We have the aforementioned missions. What's going on? I don't understand why this does this. Pilgrim, why does it do this?
It's because it's a Sunday and it's very warm in the UK, so the weather is affecting everything you're
Yeah, you said
thinking
it's
about.
32 or some crazy thing.
32C, which I guess is high 90s Fahrenheit.
What's going on? Is it stuff from?
Well, it's your fault. You've
Wow.
had that big hurricane, haven't you, which landed
Oh.
south of Florida, went through Cuba. What that did was it caused a thing called the Omega effect. Now, the Omega, you know, the letter Omega in Greek is shaped like that, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's how the big air thing, what's it called? The slipstream.
The slips. That thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
that thing has
Yep.
done this, and what it's done, it's drawn all the hot air up. Because of that hurricane here, it's drawn all the hot air up from the south, and it's looping around the top of the UK, like in the loop, and that's because it's high pressure. It moves very slowly, so out in the Atlantic it's quite cold and wet. Over towards Russia, it's normal cold, and then from the UK round to Norway, Denmark, we've got this like mini heat wave going on because it's drawing all the warm air, the high pressure, and because high pressure doesn't move, we've got almost no wind. So it's like it's not only the heat, it's the heat. I woke up this morning and thought, and I said to my good lady, I said, "Have we moved to Florida?" She went, "No." I said, "It feels like it. It's wet and hot. It's sticky. It's horrible." And I've got palm trees growing in the back garden there.
They just sprouted up overnight.
Yep.
The Omega effect, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
It because of that hurricane, it's caused the slips. I can't remember what it's called now. That thing that's high in the air that's called, I can't remember. You're a pilot. What's it called?
Jet stream.
Jet stream. That's
Yeah.
it. The jet stream. Yes, that thing. The wobbly thing. Yes. So it's shaped like an Omega, like the letter Omega.
Is that how you guys
I
say?
don't mind. It's not.
Is that how you guys say Omega?
It's Amiga. Come on, we are closer to the Greeks than you are. I've got a Greek restaurant round the corner here. I know it's called Amiga. Omega.
We called Omega.
Aluminum.
Alpha Omega.
Yeah, it's Alpha. Omega. Yeah. It's a
We'll have to agree to disagree on that one.
Okay then.
All right, moving on.
Yes. History.
So it's hot.
It's hot.
It's hot.
I don't know why we're talking about it's hot. See, look, Pale
It-
Jedi, we're getting hurricanes off you guys now. Coming in 2 weeks' time. What's that all about?
It was 75 this morning when I woke up and humid.
See, if I wanted to live in that sort of conditions, I would move to Florida.
Do you have a dog?
No, here's a story.
Uh-oh.
I told you I fitted the Shorty's exhaust to the Indian.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I only like this morning, so I kicked it off just to see what it sounded like. No more than 10 seconds. No more than 10 seconds.
Blah.
The dogs in the neighbouring street were howling for about 15 minutes. Like I was like, oh shit, turn that off. All the windows were going in and out in the house like this. Woo, woo. I was going, oh, crikey. That's loud.
Children ran crying.
Yes, I caused a little bit of consternation in the road, I think.
Old women prayed for the end times.
Yeah, they thought the apocalypse had arrived.
They're like,
Big piece of American iron giving it root.
save us from the shorties.
Yeah. So no, there's dogs around. I've got the windows wide open because I'm trying to get some air.
Because it's hot. Yeah, it's stuffy.
Yeah. Well, you see, there's two trains of thought with that. Now, because you've got AC, you guys, you won't think like this, but
No.
I've been told when it's hot like this, you should actually close your curtains and close your windows. And you've got to be joking, haven't you? And then when it gets cooler towards the afternoon, evening, then open up your windows and all that sort of stuff. But man, if you could sit in this room with those windows shut, with the curtains closed, and this poxy fan giving it's just not happening. It's just not happening, mate.
All right. Awesome.
I'm
All right.
going to buy myself an air conditioner if this carries on. I can tell you.
For those 2 days you need it,
For the 2 days of the year that need it, yeah.
that'll be a good 5,000 pounds spent right there.
Yeah.
What you need is a little window. You need a little window unit.
That's what I need. Yeah, I could seal it into one of the panes, can't
Yeah.
I? Just take out a pane and put it.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be the way to
Put
go.
one room, like maybe down in your front room or whatever, and just sit there next
Yeah.
to it on the one day that you need it. All right. The Vipera.
Wait, when
What?
we were in Hong Kong, it was 99% humidity and it was easy 100 Fahrenheit, easily on a daily basis. And we were there back in the 80s, and the only thing they had in the married quarters was one air conditioning unit that was in the bedroom, which is hunky dory, which is great because it means the bedroom was nice and cool to go to bed in. But the rest of we were in apartments. The rest of the apartment was, it was just sweltering. It was
Yeah.
100%. You'd walk out of your bedroom and you'd just turn wet, like that, immediate. So what we had to do, it cost us a fortune. What we had to do was prop all the doors open from the bedroom throughout the rest of the apartment and get a big fan on the door of the bedroom and blow
Yep.
the cold air through the apartment. And we had it on constantly. And we got the electric bill. It was like, I'm going to have to sell a kidney. I'm
Oh,
going to
yeah.
have to sell a kidney now to
Yep.
pay for this.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna talk about my electrical bill every month in the summer.
I bet it's crazy, isn't it?
It's a lot. All right, the Vipera, guys, is in the shop. Wayne says, "Who dang? Never played the Vipera. Traded it for an STA1. That's aggressive. I don't know how many people would do that. It's
Yeah.
good
You should-
and not good at the same time. I mean, it's a pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It came with a reputation, didn't it? That was the thing.
yeah, yeah. That's the thing, Huadang. You have to definitely like its style of gameplay. But it can be a beast, but it's also got weaknesses in terms of the side's very soft, and if you can wear it down a bit, now it's trying to wait for its first reload, blah blah blah. But hey, if you got $158 burning a hole in your pocket, you can have one. Plus 7,500 gold and 7 million credits and some other doodads.
Yeah.
Actually,
I think. Well, the base price is. Worth it, I think.
yeah, it's $44, $45
Yeah.
US.
Definitely.
That's without the. I don't know what this
With all
camo is.
Yeah.
It's a
All the
2D.
super duper stuff.
It's a 2D style.
No. I think it's worth it. I think it has its place. I think the temptation with the Vipera is to face hug, is to get in there and play armor heavy with a TD gun, and it's not. I think you have to sort of. It can handle itself, up front, but I think you have to be selective in your play with it.
Yeah.
I think.
I don't remember, Kedge. Is it an auto loader or auto reloader?
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's the
Is it?
auto reloader, isn't it?
God, I don't
Is it?
remember. I haven't touched
What's
it. I haven't touched it for a while. What is it, guys? 5-round auto
Oh, is
loader.
it?
Oh, right. So you have
Yeah.
to. So you got the long wait. You get the
Oh,
long
that's probably
wait.
where I was going wrong.
Let's see here. Yep.
There's no tonight. Yeah.
So 32 seconds, then you've got 5 rounds. Right. So once it's out, you've got that 30-second wait.
Yeah.
And that's true. I forgot about that, Kedge. There's also slow. What's happening, man? That's right. So it's also got that long intra clip action going on of what 6 seconds? It looks like. Yep.
Yeah.
So it's not a pew pew pew. So as I recall, what I ended up doing with that thing was you just treat it as a cyclical.
Yeah.
Until it's out of rounds, then you got to hide. So
Yeah.
there is a benefit to having 6 seconds for a 400 alpha. That if you consider there aren't any other 400 alpha tanks that are reloading in 6 seconds.
Yeah.
That's still pretty good in terms of being back in the fight real quick. But you fire all 5. The other thing that gets tricky with tanks like this is, say you shoot 3 and you're looking at it and you're like, do I need to reload now?
Yeah.
Do I, you know? Yeah, they know I only have 2. Maybe I can trick them, and if they think I have 2, I'll have time to reload. So there's a lot of brain power that you have to use with these things to kind of keep yourself in the fight. We're talking about the Vipera. Yeah, it was just the shop right there. I'm just clicking around in my this guy. Show that's for sale. The Fury is back, my friends. The Fury is back. It's a easy 8. You know what I noticed, Pilgrim, is they've sort of cleaned up thank you very much. Poise 99 with the sub, much appreciated. They've cleaned up the shop a bit. Like, this is the...
Haven't they just?
Yeah, this is the featured. And they've got the Vipera, they've got the Fury, and then they got a couple of these going on.
Yeah. It doesn't scroll forever, and it almost is almost in a logical order.
Almost.
Almost.
Well, I don't know why this is here, and then these 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the gold is the gold. Nothing to really see right there. No huge discounts. Premium account, standard. Then if you go to specials, Kedge, thank you. Gifted to So Slow. Excellent. If you go to specials, it's just some of the same stuff, but actually not. I guess it's all different, isn't it? They've got this 46 tank dude and the 12 tank dude, and that's it. They don't have a big long list of the same.
There's nothing, is there? Yeah, there's that starter button.
Yeah, they don't have a long list.
That's it.
Yeah, they don't have a long list of the same crap. And that featured is there. And we got the battle pass thing. Like I said, I did buy the 10, so I've already purchased all the offers. And if you use gold to start one of your what is it? Extra battle pass, whatever the hell it is, premium battle pass, whatever. Improved.
Second level.
Improved battle pass. Oh, look at that! Look at that! Kedge sent one out to Sasquatch. Thank you very much. Told your son there were a lot of turtles in the game. He told us because they buffed it. That is correct. A lot, Sasquatch. We're going to get to that. We're going to talk about the patch here in a second. But the turtle got an insanely gigantic budge. Budge?
Yeah, budge. We'll call it budgies from now on.
Budge?
Yeah, budgie buff. Buff budgie.
It's got a much larger budgie now.
Hoodag for the bits, and he's kicked off the hype train. Cheers, Hoodag.
Oh, thanks, man. Much appreciated. Budge. It got a huge budge.
You've got a huge budge, yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious. All right, so vehicles then, we got the Vipera, the Furry, and then it goes into the standard stuff. So I like it.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of stuff for sale, but they did just start Battle Pass.
Yeah, I know, but the whole cleanup that they've done is... I mean, if you go to vehicles at the end, you've still got a big list of vehicles.
Right, the stuff that's always for sale. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But it's quite nice that they've cleaned it all up, and it's not this never-ending buy, sell nonsense.
Hoodang with the sub. Fantastic, guys. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. And Cliffy. Why did Cliffy's not show? That's weird. Oh, it did. Right above. I'm just an idiot. Cliffy's getting on the train. Thanks, guys. Much appreciated. Public service announcement for your Battle Pass. You're going to go to Battle Pass. How do those videos go? You're going to press items for tokens. You're going to wait for a while. You're going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and you are going to choose, before you do anything else, a piece of bounty equipment. And that will slide you back 3 coins, but if you've been doing all of your Battle Pass, you'll be able to get your tanks, unless you're really behind on tanks. So you got to do the math a little bit, but I will still be able to get the KPZ Project Yada Yada, because it takes 27 coins. I've got 18, minus 5, I'll have enough coins. I'm not going to do all the math, but
yeah.
My advice to you, my friends, is every time Battle Pass starts and you get your first 3 coins, you buy a piece of this. Get your bounty on. I'm going to have to decide. I'm not sure what I want right now. And I really wish it would tell me how many of these I have when I hover over it. That's a little disappointing. A little disappointing. I think the bounty hardening is new. I believe this battle pass, is that right? Cliffy probably knows. I think this was the new one right here. I could be wrong. Bounty Turbo. Can't get that piece for bonds. Well, you is it not in the bond shop? I guess it isn't. You're probably right. You're probably right. Correct. It has been available. It was just available for something. Some other event they just did, their birthday event or something. It keeps on going, Sasquatch.
It was behind a mode wall, wasn't it? Which was the
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
it was a birthday event, wasn't it? I think it was the
event.
Yeah, it was a birthday event. Getting your 5 keys so you could unlock the special garage.
Yeah. Special garage, that's the one.
Special garage. Sasquatch, thanks, man. The hype train keeps rolling. It's a level 2. We are hyped. We are hyped. Get your bloody bounty equipment, guys. That's probably one of the better deals, honestly. Also, too, and in addition to, you will, at the end of your journey, your sojourn, through each one of these, you will get another 3. So there are 4 pieces of bounty equipment available each battle pass.
Yeah.
I saw that, Kedge. I saw Dez's turbo comparison. It was interesting. Yes. And it's really not that much, is it?
No.
A huge difference between no equipment turbo.
Yeah.
The turbo not in a special slot, turbo in a special slot, bounty and improved. Not a huge difference.
Yeah. Well, what I would say is that that's on paper. I wonder in game whether that actually is true. I wonder in game if you don't get that extra 1-2 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And that does make a difference.
And experimental, Houdan, good point. Actually, I was just looking at that. I've had the question a couple times, hey, is experimental worth it or whatever? I would say, based on that, the experimental turbo is actually a pretty good. Because its percentage, I was just doing this today, actually, right before I was looking at this whole thing. If we go here and look at experimental, I've got one at, that's fire control. I've got one mobility up to 2. I went ahead and broke down a bunch of my stuff. Oh, I've got 2 of these. I need to break one down. Is that right? Anyway, let's take a look at this. No, don't do that. Come on now. There we go. Now, I don't have enough, unfortunately. Even if I break one down, I'll only get to Math and Public 1600. So I need another piece. But right now, it's +6.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it can go to +8. It looks to me like, and especially now with that information from Dez, and thanks for the hype train, guys. It's fantastic. I would say this is actually worth it. You know,
I think so.
Because you're not. Now. I mean, if you don't have a improved to put on or a bounty, this is as good as either one of those, really. Because what's the bounty?
Yeah.
The bounty is +12. Oh, I didn't realize that's quite a bit actually. But if you watch his video, this thing didn't lag too far behind, and I think he was using a tier 3. So, you know, there is a difference between 6 and 8. But once you get to the 8, you're in the ballpark, man.
Yeah.
Plus, I guess my point on that, which I didn't articulate well, is look at the rest of the bonuses that you're getting. So not only are you getting essentially the same upgrade in speed, or very close, as makes no big difference, you're also getting these little bonuses to some other things.
Yeah.
Which is nice. You can add those. Go ahead.
That was with the bounty being fully upgraded, wasn't it? If I remember rightly. All his bounty equipment was completely upgraded. You know you can upgrade your bounty equipment, but it costs silver. You can do it for silver.
Well, yeah. And actually, I misspoke. Go ahead.
I'm assuming he was using completely upgraded bounty.
He was, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. I misspoke a little bit. I was looking at engine power. Really, I think, and that's important because that's to get up to speed. But take a look at the plus to speed So the one I have is here, but +5. Now that's probably the same as the bounty, as I recall. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this thing at tier 3 is the same as a bounty. So you're getting a +5, and you get these extra little other bonuses. You have a little bit less bonus to engine power, but that's your kind of off the line bonus, and some of your hill climbing ability right there. So there's a little bit of less of that, but now I don't know about this, guys, whether the tier 3 fire control system, I'm not sure. I'd have to look at that a little closer. What is, we get +9 to aiming speed, -11 dispersion during movement. This one is 25, so it's more than twice. Plus it does, but this one also gives you +9 to aiming speed, which is the gun laying device, which gives you +9, 12.5. So you got a kind of a combo stabilizer gun laying drive with this. I don't know what people's opinion of that is. Thanks, Kedge. Gifted to Pale Jedi. 29% to a level 3 hype train. Fantastic. What will it take for Wargaming to start making 3D skins for something that isn't tier 10? Car Forever, man, that's a great question. So the survival improves? Of course. So I broke down all my survivals. That makes sense. I would break down the best one. Yeah, that's perfect.
Carl, thanks for the 150 bits, buddy.
I guess what I need to do is the next time one of these a mode comes up with these things, I need to go ahead and do it, because I would, if I'd have done, there's a couple modes that have come and gone that had improved equipment. I just ignored them, and now I don't have improved equipment, so I probably should have done them.
Well, I'm sort of similar as you. I've no longer got any experimental equipment, because the equipment I had, well, I upgraded it by breaking it down and making it the next one, and then put it on a tank. So the only equipment I'm now sitting with, I think, is bounty. Yeah, I've got a bounty aiming and a bounty exhaust, 2 of each.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe we should do the modes and then just get this extra equipment. Seems like a no-brainer, really, doesn't it?
Yep. Yeah, so that's cool. All right. That was off of a question, right? What were we talking about? I don't even remember, to be honest with you. We were talking about something, man.
Climbing mountains? No. Skiing? No.
Astrology?
That was earlier on.
No, that's Scorpio and Gemini and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's that stuff.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Astronomy is the other one.
Yeah.
I think we were trying to finish up missions and specials.
That was it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Blue light, didn't we? Yeah.
So don't forget, get your bounty equipment, and
Yeah.
possibly use your improved, because why not? It's actually pretty good in some cases. I mean, especially if you're running a tank and you're out of bounty and improved to put it on it, you might as well put that on there. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Kedge. It's all right.
See, that's the other thing I've sort of missed out, and I know you've done a little bit of it now, is the field mods. I just haven't bothered with them, but I'm sitting there with lots to unlock, to be honest. It's just, it doesn't figure in my train of thought when I'm setting my tank up and everything. I virtually ignore field mods.
I need to dig into those a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
I need to dig in those a little
idea.
bit. There's what I often hear about that is guys will say, well, there's some tanks that really benefit from it, and then I never get any details of what those tanks might be.
Right. Yeah.
Which I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm just kind of curious which ones they might be. I guess one way to your first stop, I think, if you're completely starting from zero, is go to skills page where he breaks down all the equipment, because I think he's got field mods on that thing as well.
Right.
Go there and start there, because that'll be about the best advice you can get, and then as you get better with your own stuff, you can figure out what your little niche is. But as a starting point, that's probably the best place to start. 106 days till Christmas, Wayne, and Christmas boxes are canceled.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just kidding, in case you're
Unless it snows.
If it snows, they'll be back on. What if the Omega? What if the Omega goes over Britain?
When they do the Omega over Florida and it snows, then the boxes will be there.
God, I hope we don't
Christmas
get
boxes.
snow in Florida. We had it once about 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You sure it wasn't just ash from a volcanic cloud?
It was not. It was sleety, snowish stuff.
Was it?
Yeah, and it stayed on the
I
ground
think-
for about a day because it was that
Yeah.
cold. Then it got too cold to sleep,
But turn your air conditioner off when it's cold.
and then it warmed up and melted, and we didn't think about it again.
Okay. It was a one-off thing. You talked about it down the pub for an hour, and then the subject turned to football or something, didn't it?
What? Oh, speaking of Pilgrim, do you know
Oh, what?
do you know what this weekend is? One of the most glorious weekends in America.
Was it Super Bowl?
No, no, better
Labor
actually.
Day.
No, better than the Super Bowl in my opinion. The beginning of American football season.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This in September.
So we had a full line of college games yesterday, and there were a couple classic, great games. Now we got the pros going today, and then we got
Right.
pros on Monday, and then we got pros on Thursday, and we got college football, and we got the whole. Also, Alabama lost, which makes me kind of happy.
Does it really?
Kind
Are you
of.
allowed to say that on air?
Oh yeah, makes me kind of
It's-
happy.
It's okay. So clarify it for a Brit who doesn't really get his head around American football. Is college football the leader into pros? So college football is college football. It's,
Yeah.
You go to you're at college, and then people from there get selected to go into pros.
Yes, essentially. Yes,
Right, okay.
you can get to the pros straight out of college, but it ain't easy.
No, you're gonna be a superstar.
Yeah, I mean, you could do a walk on or do undrafted or go to pro days if you get invited, stuff like that. But I would say 99% of players, maybe higher percentage, they have to go through college.
So kids go to college on a scholarship to play football as opposed to a scholarship for one of the sciences or history or something. They actually
Correct.
go with a football scholarship.
They get an academic scholarship and they play football. I mean, yes, it's a football scholarship, but they pay their, and there's percentages. Some teams have X amount. I'm not exactly sure what all the rules are, but
So
some teams.
do you have to get certain grades in the subjects, history, maths, English, to keep
Yeah.
your scholarship going?
Yes,
If you drop your grades, you get booted.
but it's not that hard.
Oh, okay.
You-
It's not. Is it sums? Is it not even calculated?
I mean, it depends. It depends on what you're studying, and it depends on the booster system. And
Right.
these kids are not. There is no lack of tutoring availability.
So you could go for, let's go for one of the social sciences degree, or one of the lesser known ones like I don't know, toenail clipping degree.
I mean, a good number of them. Get all kinds of
Regular.
degrees. You got engineers and stuff. Like you talk about a lot of the, what are they called? The Ivy League schools and some of the big science schools
Yeah,
and
got
stuff.
ya, got
They
ya.
don't tend to have great teams, but their guys are all doing. Some of them are doing hard science, but yeah, there's plenty of them getting like, I don't know, sports management degrees.
Yes. Yeah.
Which
Yeah. Which
Whatever.
is fine.
yeah,
Somebody needs to do that. So how does sorry, well I know this is a tangent, but it's quite interesting to me, a Brit. So how does, because we have a university system as well, you know.
Hu
and
Dang,
there are
take care,
different
man.
Grades. Pardon?
I'm just saying bye to Hu Dang. He's
Oh. who
heading
knows?
off to sleep.
Good night, sir. So how does a ghetto kid get into college and play college football? If he's the best footballer in the world, he's 17 years old or whatever, but he's whatever, he's one of these gifted footballers. How does he get into that system?
He'll get recruited out of high school. If you're a prospect playing in high school,
Right.
then you'll have scouts if you're that good, and then they'll offer you.
Yeah.
And oftentimes that's how people, a lot of people can live. A lot of people, the number of people who get into the pros is vanishingly small. More of them get into college, and the good deal about college is if they can get a scholarship to get into college, and that's helping lift them out of that situation, and that's always a good thing.
Yeah.
Um,
This is interesting to me because you have a very democratic system for education in that if irrespective of where you come in, the level of society that you live in, if you are, clever enough or gifted enough or whatever, you can make your way through the education system.
Yeah.
You can get grants, you can get all that. We're just starting down that road. We've had a very elitist system here,
Yeah.
where to get to university you had to get, you had to have money, and you had to get all A-star grades in your high school. And there was absolutely no way, if you came from the wrong area or the wrong school, you never got into Cambridge or Oxford. Now it's starting to change, so for the better, I might add. But you've had that system all along.
Well, we have
There's
a
no
bit of
need
it.
to-
Well, we still, no, that's not exactly true. We still have a stratified system. I mean,
okay.
point well taken. If you can be in one of the worst high schools and do really, really well, have super high SAT, ACT, which I think somebody just typed in there, and get a full ride, we call it, where you don't have the money to go to Harvard or something, but you get in based on merit. So that definitely exists. If you don't have that and you don't have the money, there's other options. There's middle of the road universities and colleges. There's junior colleges, which I'm not saying junior colleges are bad or they're necessarily below, but junior colleges are 2-year degrees generally.
Right, got you.
So
Yeah.
so you go there, and if you get good grades there, then you can apply to some of these other colleges, and they might go, okay,
Right.
great, you've proven 2 years of junior college, you got great grades. Here's a partial scholarship or a scholarship or whatever.
Got you.
And that was mentioned in there as well, as far as playing sports. Sometimes if their grades aren't good enough, they can go to junior college, get their grades up, and then they might get picked up by another program, because now the grades aren't a problem. Because a lot of these big colleges they look at the whole person to some extent. They want the best players they can get, but they can't have a kid who's just going to struggle through school and then maybe not be able to
No.
play because they can't do the grades.
Can't do the grades. Yeah, no, that's understandable, because they're actually investing a lot of money into those kids, aren't they? So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's cool. Anyway, back to tanks, sir. Sorry.
No, it's awesome, man. So yeah, that last Sunday or Saturday was full of games, and now we got today is the pros. There's a bit of a in the U.S. There's this kind of, some people are all college fans, some people are all pro fans. I like them both for the reasons that they're both good. College
Yeah.
is like anything can happen, and there's a lot of emotion, and there's all the spirit and all that stuff going on, and that's pretty cool. You got the student athletes doing their thing, and then I like the pros just because the skill and the speed is incredible at the pro level. You distill all the best players from college and you put them in the pros, and some of the stuff these guys can do is absolutely insane. I can do without all the other shenanigans on the pro side, and sometimes for me the college spirit thing gets a little weird, but
Right.
I like them both.
I think, just to top and tail what you're saying there, I think when you watch something like college football, these are kids who are striving to get somewhere. They're striving to get into pros, so they are 110% committed in everything they do because they want to be seen,
Yeah.
I guess. So I guess that's the difference. With pros, I guess it's about the money, I would imagine.
It is it is. It's interesting actually. I was just having this discussion and watching. It was Tampa Bay, I think it was. They brought in Tom Brady. They brought in a bunch of players. They were able to get under their what's called their salary cap because people wanted to go there and win a Super Bowl. They're like, all right, Brady's there,
Yeah.
I'm going there. And if I don't get paid everything I think I'm worth, which is a whole other subject, but I'll just say it that way, then I don't care because we have a Super Bowl potential. Well, Brady retired and the team just disintegrated.
Wow.
You got people like, oh, you're going to pay me more now because I'm actually worth this, and they went to other teams, and so it's so you definitely have a situation where some people are willing to not take their full pay if they have a chance at a Super Bowl, and nearly every time that team wins a Super Bowl, they disintegrate because it's like you said, at that point it becomes about the money.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah, not very many people go to pro. I don't even, is 15%, is that seems high, but maybe it is 15%. I don't know. It's not much though, Cliffy, that's for sure. Who go for
But
college.
it's one way to get an education, isn't it? Because
Oh,
you get a
100%,
scholarship,
yeah.
and mum and dad are not paying for that scholarship.
There's a lot of great athletes that play college ball of all sports, actually, all the college sports. There's more than just football. Great athletes who they just play in college because they're not going to go pro, and that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Rarely watch sports on TV. Someone mentioned the games are faster. That took me by surprise yesterday. Because I'll often be sitting in here, and then the TV's outside over there in the living room, and I'll be listening to it. And occasionally, that's why one of the reasons I like World of Tanks. I can get up and walk and watch football for 30 minutes. And it doesn't bother me. I can come back and play.
Yeah.
One of the games I was watching, and I kind of got busy doing something on the computer, and then I got back up and went out, and like, it's the U.S. Open's on. I'm like, where'd the damn game go? I mean, it literally was about 2/3 of the length I expected it to be. That's crazy. Crazy. All right, guys, we've been at it for an hour, and my eyeballs are floating. That's it for missions and specials, I think. We're going to go on to subjects du jour. We got patch 122 to talk about. Somebody asked about the turtle. We'll get to that. And a couple leaks, and then we're going to delve into Armored Patrol because there's a lot of interesting leaks and stuff on that. So give us 5 minutes, and we shall return.
A mysterious chap who spoke in a tongue with strange dialect. He offered his help to the mighty Guido to bring some laughter to his love of speedos. To the coffee talk they both came, to bring the message of winning ways to all and sundry and the masses. Yes, that's right, lads and lasses. The damage counts and flexing back will keep you on the right track. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. So in what, if you want to progress, then seek out Guido nonetheless. With his sidekick Pilgrim, he has a message that to win you must be aggressive. The position and place that you must seek, for the winners only, not the weak. The guru speaks, so listen well. His voice rings out like the Liberty Bell, to bring you all to Unicom land, or to die hard trying in the sand. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. To the swamplands came the mountain man, to teach his wisdom and pay his due. A man with a name only known to a few. To his followers his words are true. Guido is the man, big and gruff. He used to fly jets, but now he does the tanking stuff. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido.
Oh man.
All right, guys, we are back. We are back. Missions and specials, I think we pretty much covered that. Yeah, there's nothing really in here. I don't know what's this roadmap? I don't even know what this is. Roadmap highlights, mission 4. What is this? August 10th to November 1st. I have no idea what this is.
Look.
Huh. French vehicles. What is this?
Trying to see.
I
now.
literally have no idea what the hell this is. Hello, Madam Yorktown. Welcome to Console Tanks. Excellent, man. It's a mission from a code, really. I should probably get on that. Looks like you have to do it with a French tank. That's right. I'm with you, Wayne. I don't know what it is, but I randomly completed it, so I guess it's fine. Here's those I already talked about these. All right, let's get out of here. Let's get on to subjects du jour. Pilgrim, are you ready?
We're ready. Subjects du jour, because we haven't done the news. So we'll do subjects du jour.
All right. Let us check out one 1.22. How's everybody liking the patch? What are your thoughts on it? Have you messed around with it much at all?
Just looking at it now, I mean, to be honest, the first I've seen it is this morning. So I really haven't had much time to go through it all. But apart from the fact that the British light tanks and all that.
Mediums. We went over this.
Oh, mediums.
Remember we're salty? We're salty. Remember we're supposed to be salty about it.
Yeah.
Fast Red Horse does not like the new Mountain Pass. Really?
Okay.
Okay. How come? Too much hold down face punching? I've seen Mountain Pass. I have yet to have Studzianski since the patch, actually, and I've played a bit. So Slow likes the new Mountain Pass. I think I like it. I've had it 2 or 3 times. What else has changed? There's several others changed. Oh, no. Yeah. Nope. Yeah. I bet we find out if we keep going through the article, though. All right. Rebalance maps. Here it is. Boom. Read the article. Mountain Pass. Studzianski. Fisherman's Bay changed?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Remember, we had a quick look at it, didn't we? The line of sight from the middle now has changed, hasn't it? Yeah.
So this one is not huge changes, I think. Yeah?
The old bushes.
Yeah, this... I haven't been in the city, so I haven't seen these. I usually fight over here initially, so I just had a game in this one with the AEC, I think it was. I might feature. So this one doesn't seem to be huge changes. Would you guys agree with that? For the King is away from home and the camper van Wi-Fi not up to playing the game. Nice. Oyster Bay. See, I've played this too, and I don't... I did notice this. That is changed, and that has changed a little bit. I did notice.
Yeah, you can snipe from the right hand. Yeah, you can snipe in now.
I haven't been over here yet with a heavy, so I'm not sure how these have changed over here yet. So I'll have to check that out. Okay, Mountain Pass though, significant. Lots of changes to Mountain Pass, and I think most people when they say Mountain Pass are talking about, I think, Area 12 and then the crossing 6 and 7. 9 has an extra bush. I guess I don't know if that really matters, but these have changed a little bit as well. And then this has changed too. I rarely go to the north, but I did drive down at the end of one game, coming around trying to get hit points, and I noticed these extra rocks and features along here. This is pretty narrow right in here as well, so you've got a better ability to go hold down or side scrape or fight here rather than just sit on top and sit on bottom. Yeah. The Stud and Mountain seem to have the most change. Yeah, Studzianski I've yet to have. So I have been on all 3 and not Studzianski, so I've been on the other 3. This seems significant right here. This whole thing is very much changed. So it's not a dive in the ditch and fight in the ditch. Now that might still be a player, but it's much more open. So
yeah, it looks bigger now. It feels bigger now, doesn't it?
Yep, so we got those. All right. Map changes, and we've got rebalanced vehicles. Now this is what somebody asked about. Let's go find the Teutel, and that's why people are playing the Turtle so much. I don't remember who asked, but the top speed was raised by 5, the reverse by 2, yeah. Dispersion during movement was decreased, standard pen was increased, special pen was increased, shell velocity was buffed a lot, and that makes it a much more comfortable round, especially at range. And the special shell was buffed at 200 as well. You start talking about 1,200, 1,000. For me, about 1,000 is kind of a break point. Lower, much lower than 1,000, and it becomes a bit difficult to lead fire.
Yeah.
And you start getting towards 1,500, 1,200, 13. That becomes more of a laser shot, and it's much easier to lead fire. So I didn't realize its shell velocity was so poor overall, but this is a significant buff. That's why so many people are playing the turtle right now. So hopefully that asked the question. All right, let's not. What did we bash in Ikibu or something? Asked Ikibu when we get some new maps. He argued those are new maps. Anytime that. I don't even know why. Why would you even? Why would that be your? That's strange, Wayne. I'll be honest. That's a weird answer. What?
It just.
Why would you even? You could argue, hey, we freshened up 4 maps. That's what we did this patch, right? We concentrated on freshening up some maps that needed it, and obviously we'll continue to work on new maps as we can. That's the answer, dude. That's how you answer that. Like, how is that not? How?
I don't know.
Am I completely off base?
Well, no, I don't think you are. I think the response is somewhat strange. To be
Well, it's a head shaker because it's like taking it personal. It's like,
Yeah.
bro, the fact it's a, ugh. And not just that. It's if you're gonna represent an organization, don't be confrontational all the time with stuff. Like, there's a way to package that for your public facing side that makes you look good. Like, hey, yeah, we're working on new maps. This time we freshened up some old ones because that was our priority for this patch. We got more patches coming. Hopefully we'll get some new maps out for you guys.
Yeah. New maps are in the pipeline.
There, I'm your freaking
like they've always been.
I just gave your PR department the day off.
Yeah, absolutely. Just around midnight, painted his Mustang. Still not a new car.
Well, it is midnight, according to that logic.
It is now.
So
Yeah.
you have a new car. Good job. You have a brand new '66 Mustang.
Yeah.
So take that.
In indigo green.
Now, the other context to those comments, he does field a lot of stupid in his streams in the comment section. You have to try to be able to not let that change your demeanor. But as much as I even try to do it with not many people commenting, sometimes I get triggered by comments and then I get quite negative as well. So
Right.
I don't know.
But Greedo, this is the thing. You put yourself out there, and there are a million people out there who have their own opinions and their own opinions on what you're doing. And so, as a streamer, if you get triggered, which fair enough, people do get triggered, then you need to take a big, you need a big step backwards, because if you put yourself out there, I'll give you, for example, I watch a couple of DayZ channels, and these are the top streamers on DayZ I watch. And when people type things in, sometimes when they type, it's not how they are wanting to come across, because
Sure.
writing something is, you can't put the emotion into it.
Yeah.
The streamer then immediately triggers and bans this geezer or this woman. And you're like, really? You put yourself out there. You've got to just wind it back a bit and just go, all right, whatever, mate, and just carry on. Just ignore it if you have to. If you start getting triggered by your watchers because they're saying things in their own opinion, they're saying that, unless it's an obvious troll. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's an obvious troll.
Yeah,
goodbye,
yeah.
You're gone.
Yeah, and you have to try to sift through some of that stuff. But
Yeah.
I'm with you. I agree with that. PC getting Sturm Tiger. We're actually going to talk about that, Madam Yorktown, a little bit, because one of the articles I want to take a look at here in a moment is talking about all the tanks that are in the files. And it does mention the Sturm Tiger line is on console. We have no indication here that that's coming to PC, so I don't have any kind of inside info on that, although I do understand you guys have it, and I think it's even somewhat in the files, to be honest.
I think, do you want that though? I mean, It's a tracked mortar, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Opinions on how to play tanks. The T-5041 and the 5100 so hard to play that tanks. EPZ. Yeah, you probably already know this, but those tanks are opportunistic tanks, meaning that you need to be near the front. And I don't want to say second line, because oftentimes people take second line to mean too far back or in a position where only if the enemy pushes I can do something. But if you can run with either one of those tanks, actually, and especially the 5120, which is pretty fast, if you can run with the mediums, or if you can support some heavies who can do some of the armor tanking for you, they are absolutely brutal if you can get to the mid to late game. And you want to be far enough forward to do damage, so it's not a case of, okay, I'm going to go hide, and then at mid to late game, Guido said I'll be better. No, you do need to be up there, but you have to manage your exposure, and it's not easy. You absolutely have to manage your exposure. So be very careful about when you poke, and do not get the fangs out, bloodthirsty, ooh, I'm going to jump out and clip this guy, especially when there's a lot of guns left in the game, because it's going to go badly, and everyone in the world's going to try to track you.
Yeah.
Number 2, I guess that's probably 1, 2, 3, and 4. Number 5, whatever it is. Managing your reload is extremely important with a tank like that. Knowing when to press C to force a reload or to disengage and go hide and get your reload. So there's a lot more to it. Those are just general things. So hopefully that.
Yeah, I think if you want to pigeonhole it, it's play like a jackal. So instead of playing like a Pride of Lions, play like a jackal.
Right.
You know, get the scraps, get the sort of dead meat that's
Yeah.
got. You know what I mean? Use those rounds that you're carrying to good effect. Let the heavies do the business, and just pick up not pick up the scraps, but that generally. Yeah.
And I think while you're in the middle of playing it, the one of the least considered skills is when to force a reload.
Yes.
Do I wait till I fired all my shells? Do I need to hold these 2 shells because I think I'm about to get a shot and get a kill and then reload? Do I need to disengage now and press C and just accept I'm not going to get those 2 shells out? If I do this a lot too early a bunch, now I'm not getting any kind of DPM because I'm constantly in a 30-second reload. So it's easy to reload too much, and it's easy to not reload enough, and that's just like general pie in the sky stuff. I'd have to have examples of that and the gameplay of it to show you what I'm talking about. But you found yourself both, number 1, caught out because you pressed reload and now you're getting pushed. No shit.
Yeah.
Or you sat around with 2 shells thinking I'm about to get a shot, and now it's 2 minutes later and you haven't shot a single one of them. And you're like, well, I could have reloaded 4 times between now and then. And that's assessing the flow of the battle is what that is, and it's not easy.
It's not easy, and when you get it right, it's fantastic because it means you've got a full clip when you need it.
Yep.
That's the good thing about it. When it works beautifully. But
for the king.
Yeah.
If you don't want any nuance, then go for the king's plan. Rage in, shoot every shot you have, and try to get away. I mean, that's an option. It's an option. Well, Madam Yorktown's got an interesting, and that's one specific example I could come up with. Basically, what they're saying there is, well, you've got an autoloader, especially these guys that have 4 or 5 shells like these tanks do. I think it's 6 in the T-5041, or is it 5? I don't remember. But anyway, anything above 4, to be honest, if you pop and take 2 shots or 3 out of 5 or something, and you pull back, they don't know, right? They counted those shots, and then they go, all right, is he going to poke again? Is he... Now, that's an opportunity right there. If you don't think you need him immediately, is to hit C and reload right then.
Yeah.
So, and then 30 seconds later, while they're like, can I push, can I not? And then you're reloaded again, right? Or at least you've bought yourself some time. If they do push, you're halfway through the reload. Maybe they get a shot or 2, you reload, and then you take them out, right? So that's a good example of forcing a reload in one of those situations where you might do that.
Also, on that point, that is very dependent on the enemy team having the nous to figure that out. Not everybody not everybody will count somebody's shells or be that invested in it. If you get a bunch of guys who just want to roll and carry on rolling no matter what, then irrespective, you're caught out anyway. But so it's very dependent on the enemy team having at least some form of tactical knowledge. And they go, has he got two? Has he got three? Has he got? Because most people just don't. They just go charge.
Yeah. And all that's very nice when you're fighting a cyclical. But if you got a couple other autoloaders,
yeah,
you don't have time. They're gonna, if they jump you, and it doesn't matter what kind of tank you're in at that point. You're probably eating a bunch of shots. Which brings me to one other point, I suppose, is if you can run with another autoloader, you can do some good damage with two of you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. Turtle. That's why the turtle. We got some other small buffs here. The T26E5 got a bit of a buff. I may have to try that one out. That's quite a bit, actually. The MLE got another buff. Now, this is a premium. That's very interesting, right? Actually, several of these are premiums. In fact, they all are, aren't they? Yes, they are. These are all premiums.
Yes.
The pilot got a little buff. Got some pen, which is nice. Some shell velocity, always appreciative. I like the number, though. 67. Okay. Why not 66 or 68? The 5/1 got a, what did I call it earlier? A boof?
A budge.
A budge.
Oh, budge.
Got a huge budge.
Got a huge budge.
Huge. Look at this. It went from 0.18 dispersion during movement on hull traverse to 0.14.
That's just massive, and it's very apropos that you're calling it a budge, because that's an Australian tank, and budgie smugglers is all about what the Australians have.
This thing's budgie is so big now, so big.
Smuggles.
So he can't smuggle it anymore. It's too large.
It's a small rack.
It is a small rack. Yes.
Yeah.
And then, as if this wasn't enough, boom. 0.06 buff to the Sturv 8-1.
Dear, oh dear.
So expect these two tanks to destroy the game immediately.
Oh, of course.
The 4202 got a couple extra things. Got actually a little bit of view range and a reload time. Now that's nice. Anytime you get that, because reload time translates, as long as alpha isn't touched, to more DPM.
Yeah.
And then the turtle. All right, so the tier 5 to 8 tanks that got buffed. There's some more in here. We got the Churchill 1, Churchill 7. What happened to Churchill 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Actually, there's a 3 in the game, isn't there? And a 5. How come? Is there a Churchill 5, or am I?
Yeah, there is. There's Churchill 5. I think one of them's is Soviet. Then leased one.
That's the 3, I believe. That's the 3. Yeah. 7 got a buff. This is a tier 6 tank, so considerable number of budges. The Black Prince got a bunch of budges. Much faster gun, so that's some more DPM. Actually, 5 kilometers an hour is pretty significant. This thing is so painfully slow. It's still slow, but 25, okay, we'll take it. A little faster backwards, so not bad. The M46, or AMX AC MLE 46, got a little extra armor and some dispersion help and aiming time help. We got there's the Churchill 1 again. Then we got the AMX 65T, which they can't stop touching.
Yeah, they can't, can they?
The AMX 65T is like, stop touching me.
Yeah.
So did it not get buffed? Budged? It got budged.
It got budged.
And then it got debudged, unbudged, and then it got budged again.
Yeah.
I wish I had all those. I need to go.
Budgie swing roundabout.
Yeah. I need to go look at that, because this has been it's a wild ride for the old 65T. And you know what the end result of all of those were?
Yeah, yeah.
It still sucked.
Yeah. And its stats still stink.
So they're like, let's buff it. Oh, it still sucks. Nerf it. Well, we have to nerf it because we're nerfing tanks above it. So we have to nerf it because We have to.
You've got to balance. We've got
Yeah,
to
we have to
balance.
balance. And then it still sucks. Budget again.
Dear, dear. Or maybe you've got the Monday to Friday crew doing all the budging, and then the weekend crew comes in and go, hang on, what's happened there? Nerf it. And then on Monday, the Monday morning...
I had considered that. Maybe
Hang on
it's
a minute.
the evening and the night guys.
Yeah, I thought we budged that.
That's
We
those.
must have forgot. Let's budget again.
That's the weekend crew. Debudge that crap.
Yeah.
So let's see. So it got upper glacis plate. Mocha's about to bark. Lower glacis plate. Okay. It got hull traverse by 1 degree. Okay. Got a view range budge by 10. All right, reload time. There's some extra DPM. Fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And standard pin went to 225. I don't know, fellas. Then we've got the 4502P. Now this poor guy, he's been a dog since dogs were invented. He was born a dog. Although,
you've got to say, are the buffs sufficient for this particular tank? Because he's been a dog for so long.
well, it's a significant buff. I mean, that's a lot of armor. It got 48 millimeters to the upper glacis because historical accuracy
Yeah. Yeah.
is
That's
primary.
annoying.
And then it got turret boost by 75 from 215 to 260. 260 starts to be usable.
Yeah.
If you consider
It's
that a lot of tier 8's standard pen with heavies is somewhere between 215 and 230, you got 260. So they're going to have to dab too. Whereas in the past, they could probably just lull pen you with a standard round.
Yeah.
This was kind of interesting when it first came out because it was relatively fast for a heavy. So it was the original heavium.
Yes.
You know what I mean? From the other direction, like heavy down to medium, could run with mediums, but it got crept by speed and power and everything so badly. We'll see. We'll see if this does anything for it. I mean, it's certainly better than it was. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
Not working as tended says it
As
still
long as
sucks.
whatever they do with like the budges, as long as they're doing it to bring it to so it's usable. Do you know what I mean? I'm not interested in overpowering anything, but I'm interested in bringing it into what the game is today, to bring it to being a tank you would go and use and play.
Yeah.
Because so many tanks sit in the garage, and you look at it and go, there's no way I'm going to play that because it can't hold its own in today's environment.
It doesn't
Because
stop
the
me.
environment has moved on so much, yeah.
It doesn't stop
You
me.
know what I mean?
I play all the crappy
It doesn't
tanks.
stop you.
No.
You play all the crap. Yeah, because you're doing your 100 battle challenge. You do
I-
all the crap tanks.
I'm looking at you, FV201
Yeah.
and T34B.
Sturv.
T34B. Oh man.
No, I like the T34B purely because it's black. I mean, apart from the tank is crap, but I do like. Well, it's
Well.
okay. Hold down. It's a T29 wannabe.
Thing is, it's not okay anymore. Hold down.
Well, it's not. No,
It's
it
not.
does get
I
penned.
keep getting penned, like easily in the side cheek thing.
Yeah.
Let's see. Standard rounds are the rounds that you would shoot if you forgot to press 2 for the king,
Yeah.
or whatever you have your set it up to. I suppose some people switch them and put them on 1, and they never have to worry about standard rounds. That's not a bad idea, actually, now that I think about it. All right, we got this guy. We've got the T69. Got a significant buff. Not bad, not bad. Some extra pen along the way. That's interesting because the nerf it got, and is it still shooting heat, guys, or did they change that? Because back in the day, it had a really good heat round, but I may be also thinking about a different meta. It still has a heat round. So I don't remember what it used to be. It might have even been higher than 280. Do you guys remember? But 280, that's pretty good for a medium. Pretty good. Magazine
I'll
reload is quicker. The standard shell penetration is up as well. Aiming time's a little bit better. So yeah, that's not bad. Not a bad little boof. You think it should be a TD
Bunch.
so slow? That might be true. There is what the TL7's kind of a similar idea, right? It's a TD.
Well, wasn't the? I'm pretty sure the T34 line was a TD at some point, wasn't it? Or am I?
The T30
Maybe
was a
wait.
heavy. The T30 was the
It was
tier.
a heavy. That was right. Yeah. That's
Was
what
the
I'm
tier
getting
10 heavy, and it got relegated
Yeah.
to tier 9 TD.
TD. That's it.
You know, the G-SOAR TD thing, you know, autoloader. So it's not a bad point Social makes. Plus it's a premium, so who cares? Make it a TD. I don't know. Pershing, the Tech Tree Pershing got a buff, so not bad.
Nice.
That's fairly modest, but it does have better dispersion. 3.7 to 3.4, that's pretty significant buff. And some extra pen for the standard round of 212, because that was a really painful round.
Yeah.
Walker Bulldog did not get its autoloader. That's unfortunate, but it did get a lot of little buffs along the way. Some extra pen, some dispersion stuff, aiming time down, blah, blah, blah. AT-15 is faster, essentially, and a little bit more armor on the...
Definitely needed it for the AT-15. The battle was over before you got in.
Yeah.
If you're going to be a face hug TD, you need to be able to get there, don't you?
And I think this one's interesting. I always kind of liked the 110, but it's got a much better reload time. I mean, that's 10 from 10 seconds to 8.5. That's starting to reach sort of kind of medium range. And then once you put all the doodads on it, you're probably in the 7-second-ish, high 7-second regime maybe. That's pretty cool. Slight dispersion buff by 0.1. A little bit of aim time, and then a little bit of extra armor on this lower glacis down here, which was pretty easy to pen. Then, because we ain't done yet, there's a lot of buzz for this guy. Is this the tier? No, this is the tier 10. Did the tier 9 get buffed? I could have swore somebody said the tier 9. Oh, there it is right there. No, never mind. I thought the tier 9. Did the tier 9 Chinese TD not get buffed? I guess just the 10.
You know what? I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, maybe it's just the 10. 760 shell velocity up 200 to 960. That's in the it's not painful range now.
Yeah.
Reload time down a little bit. Dispersion help to help with the more accurate in terms of fly out speed. So all of this kind of plus it's just a little bit faster. And a significant specific power buff so it can get up to speed a little bit faster. So a little bit more mobility, better gun, and a faster reload time.
I think the gun handling was definitely needed. And, it was... Yeah, I don't know about everything else. I guess the speed buff is fine, but the gun handling is where it's at.
I played this on stream. I didn't notice a whole big difference. It's nice that it can't do 50 and chase things down that are like it could chase mediums down. That thing was ridiculous. But that's a fairly significant nerf. We'll see if it matters. I don't think so. There's actually I thought it was still at the top, but it slipped a little bit. It's top 5. It's top 5 at tier 10, but in terms of TDs, but it's not where it used to be, and this is going to hurt it some more. So we'll see where it lands. ST2 got a fairly significant buff in here. Reload time's faster, less time between shells, a little bit more armor on the turret, on the gun mantlet part. So that's nice. And then the VZ got nerfed, which we talked about this a couple weeks ago. It's kind of a surprise because it's good in the right hands, but in terms of stats, it's not. There's better tanks that probably could have got nerfed, but there you go. It took and that's not too bad. A little nerf along the way. And then the Chieftain in 279 early. I think the consensus is the Chieftain got hit harder because it got a significant hit to its mobility.
Yeah.
The gun's not quite as good in terms of reload time, and the penetration went down a little bit. That hurt it a little bit for penning stuff, obviously, especially at tier 10. This thing, I don't know. That's not a huge hit. It's certainly a little slower, a little less penetration, but it maintains 320 on pen and didn't go down to 311 like the Chieftain did.
Yeah.
And that's those things. What else was in 122? We had Season of the Azure Pegasus. Anybody doing Onslaught? Talking to somebody on stream. Was it Cliffy or somebody else was saying? No, it was Diablo, I think, was saying he figures it's going to take him 100 battles to get through everything. I haven't touched it. What is this a place where you can get more experimental equipment. Nope, you can get... Yeah, you can get the hardening, improved hardening, some bonds, other goodies. Yeah. I don't know. I don't play at night necessarily, and grinding through that is not really on my list of things to do.
No.
Battle Pass Season 12, we know that. That's on and going. Watt Plus. I didn't realize this, but there was a plus up to Watt Plus. Now, what does that mean, maybe? Did they not get enough takers?
No, possibly.
Or
I don't
was...
think the CC's shielded it enough. Do you not think?
It's possible. Now you have login rewards plus the gold stuff. I think you get gold login or some such. There's working similar to credit reserve. It can accumulate up to 500 and opens weekly. So you can make 500 gold a week, which was theoretically about 2,000 a month, and you're paying $10. So if I'm paying $10, what does $10 get me in gold? Is that what it is? It's 10, right? 9 or something like that?
Yeah.
Any amount of gold. So if I go to... That's 1034. So if you play enough, and I know we looked at the math on that. I think it's quite a bit. Is anybody doing this right now? How many battles do you need? That could be, Cliffy, I'd forgotten about that. It could be that they had many less takers because they nixed the bond equipment free transfer. Although, as I noted, it's nice to get the standard and bounty equipment free transfer. Yes, up to is very important, Car, because I don't know how many battles it takes to get it. If I get the full 750,000 silver, I've played a lot that week.
Yeah.
So my assumption is it's similar to that in terms of the amount you need to play. So that's kind of interesting, isn't it? Like, oh, I'll get my money's worth, $10 in the gold. But now you're kind of beholden to play a shit ton.
Yeah.
So there you go. Auto flipping. I haven't seen this yet. Have you seen it?
You didn't miss it, Obrute. We're just about to go.
What's that?
Obrute thought you'd missed the auto flip.
Oh,
Now, my question about
Here we
auto
are.
flip is how does the mechanic work? Have you seen it yet?
I haven't seen it yet, no.
So does it magically appear back on its tracks, or does it?
Does it
sort of
jump in the
roll
air?
over?
Does it roll back over?
I mean, for me, if you did the fall over and it just carried on rolling till you were back on your tracks, I get it. If I'm upside down and then all of a sudden it goes like that, I mean, it's just so unrealistic. It's horrible.
Well, it looks like you get 15 seconds upside down, and then they'll be back on their tracks and ready to battle.
Yeah, but that's okay.
I mean, that was such a cool thing to be able to flip people over and take them out. You know, pin them against the wall. What happens if you pin somebody?
Well, that's the thing. When you've got the wedges, when you're fighting the wedges,
Yeah.
you know, when you do that flip and you get some. Yeah, exactly. If he's stuck against, does he automatically get flipped back again? You've got a follow from Gaming Snooker.
Oh, right on. Thank you. Well, what I'm saying is, does it go like that, or does it go magically whoop?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Who is that, really? Yeah, exactly, artillery box. Dumbing the game down, yet again.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, Bruce says if someone shoots you, the timer restarts. Really? Is that true? I mean, that's huge. If someone bumps you, oh, okay, good to know. So you can keep them on. You can keep them tipped over by bumping them and stuff.
That'd be so much fun, wouldn't it? You got somebody trapped against the cliff face, and you just can keep going. Ding, ding. And you can imagine his face on the other side.
But what I'm saying is, if you've got something, you've got a guy and you've pinned him up against something. And there's no room here, right? There's a wall.
Yeah.
And there's no width for that. Does it?
No.
Does it do that and push your tank?
tank?
Yeah. Does it flip to there? Does it push your tank out? I mean, how does that exactly work? Does anyone take any damage?
Destructive Dan said he had it done.
Fire out a harpoon and wire to drag.
That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Pops up and lands on treads. Yeah, I get that. I get that. But like I said, what if someone's got you pinned and there's really not enough width for your tank? Does it just push their tank out of the way? But I guess if they're nudging you, it's probably resetting the. I don't know. We'll see. I don't
That's
know
all.
enough about it.
Do you know what could be worse? That if you did that and flipped upside down, that you flip back onto your tracks, but back at spawn. So it's like a respawn. Oh, that would be even worse, wouldn't it?
Just spawn you in the water somewhere.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
And that's that, my friends. That is the 1.22. So we're gonna move on here to this. These are the tanks that are out there. Somebody mentioned the Sturm Tiger. This was an interesting article because I guess when they were talking about multi-turret, which they never implemented, they had these crazy French planned super heavy tanks with 2 turrets. They never put them in the game. Then they sort of thought at one point maybe they would make them like the Japanese super heavies, because they have extra turrets, but the turrets don't do anything.
They don't do anything yet.
Yeah, so they just be great big tanks. This thing is 10 meters long. I mean, it's like TOG length kind of thing with a massive cannon on it. But nothing ever came of these. Here's another picture of one right here. And then here's another one right here. And they just basically never implemented these things.
That'd be worse than a TOG, though. It wouldn't
Yeah.
have the kudos of a TOG, would it?
No. Here's the Sturm Tiger line, which is on console. One shot a mouse with splash.
Well, okay. Madam Yorktown, she plays console, or he. Pronouns are not my thing. Madam Yorktown. Tell us what it's like then. Tell us what the Sturm Tiger is like. 'Cause for me, it just feels like it's a piece of mortar on tracks. And is the line the same right the way through? Multi-turret on console. Get out.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it just never came to us. So that's in there. Sturm Tiger line. What else we got in here? Chinese Arty line, which we never heard. There's a blurb in here, Pilgrim, that I read that said Wargaming now is owning the Chinese server again. Like that company is no longer. That company's no longer doing it. So I'm not sure if that's actually true or what's going on with that. But that's what it said.
Well, that wouldn't seem. Well, I don't know. Because it's a closed shop, isn't it?
Yeah, it was Zhao Gang or Yu Gang or something. I don't know if that's necessarily true. There's also this kind of interesting Grill 15 that was actually seen in game right here, which has sort of the grill artillery turret on it. It's sort of a combo. It almost looks like a WT.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a WT, but it looks like the WTF to some extent. There it is right there. Oh, that's pretty cool. Very, very different looking Grill 15. And then there was apparently a ST1 IS4 swap. There was a Chi-Ri with a short 8.8 out there.
Right.
So lots of different stuff, possibly. And then here's
this bodes the question, doesn't it? There's so much on the files. Where's the next marathon, and what's going to be in the? I mean, what's going to be in the Christmas boxes if we get them? If it snows in Florida.
I did read on this same site that the tanks for the boxes have been determined, but there was no leak on what they were going to be.
Oh, got it. Okay.
I think we thought maybe a wheeled tank, but that's already showed up. So I don't know. I don't even have a guess as to what it could be. This is the real Object 279. So the one that's in the game is called 279 Early, but it's actually a different tank. It's actually a Object 726, a completely different project that came a decade before the actual 279. It only sort of kind of looks the same based on the 4-track thing. So this apparently is out there, the model for it, but the 279 Early is not really a 279. It's a different tank.
Right. Which is not confusing whatsoever, is it?
No. A wild KPZ PR68P was spotted in the EU. Don't know. What is that? What's the KPZ PR68P? Yeah, Cliffy. Actually, I don't. I actually don't. We've gone over this a couple times. I have less access right now based on personal reasons on not jumping through hoops that I don't want to jump through. So unfortunately, when a lot of these, I didn't even have a G-Sword 1010. That's why you never saw any content for me. I don't even have it now. I still don't have it. So I don't have the premium wheeled tank.
Adam Yorktown says that the Sturm Tiger HE Premium has a 12.87 meter splash with 115 pound and 1700 damage, and the reload's 31 seconds. You see,
Yeah.
that is crazy, isn't it? That does
Yep.
not need to be in the game, does it?
Yep. Yeah, they've changed how they give us tanks, and I think to some extent one of the reasons is in the past you could go to a CC's when they gave some of these tanks on our personal accounts, and they let us play them in order to make content, a week before or several days or whatever they ended up giving it to us for. You could check a CC's service record and you would find them that they were playing tank X, and then you would know that that's probably a tank coming up. Now, I don't know why that's a big problem, because they have so many leaks and unofficial leaks and official leaks and all these games they play with this whole leak thing. But maybe that's part of why they don't do it the way they used to do. So now we have to do it on our press accounts, which I'm just not interested in doing. But there you go. Trying your hand at DCSA 10. I need to do that. I haven't done any of the air-to-ground DCS stuff, so I'm completely unknowledgeable on that.
I have tried DCS with the SU, whatever it was, 76,
Yeah.
75?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can get it off the ground, I just can't make it fly or land. So I gave up in the end. DCS is now just a far distant memory.
Mr. Stranger Danger, it's sort of that. We're not getting them. We're not getting them on our personal account until usually after. The rules are sort of nebulous from what I can tell, but lately what it's been is we sign up to get the tank on a press account so we can do content, that's fine. If that's how they want to do it. So they'll put it on our press account, then we can make content, and then we release it on the release day. So that is the day that's released, and that's all. That's the rule. So that's how they do it, which is fine. It's pretty common practice, actually. And then, for the last couple at least, if you've done all of that and you make content, then they'll put the tank on your personal account afterwards.
Right, okay. So it's like you play ball with us, we'll give you the freebie that was never a freebie.
Well, and again, you're drawing me into it again, aren't you?
Oh no, sorry.
Well, I did that. Every single time they gave me content, I made content on it, minus styles. I don't bother with the styles, and I could care less if they give me the styles or not. So every time I was given a tank, or boxes or whatever, I made content. Oftentimes, multiple pieces of content. That is a basic common sense understanding of the deal.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to give you stuff, and the deal is you make content. It's not written down anywhere, and that's all good. The CC thing is very wide open. Like, hey, make your content as long as you're not super negative or racist or all that kind of stuff. Then do your thing.
Yeah.
But when they gave me content, I felt beholden. It wasn't necessarily that, but the logical thing to do is, hey, thank you. Let me make content, and I will support the game, and I'll show the content. I'll give my honest opinion of the content. And I know that I have absolutely sold some stuff for them based on my content. I'm a small creator, so it's probably not as much as, say, Quickie Baby. Not probably. It's definitely not as much as, say, Quickie Baby or Skill, but there you go. So that was my understanding of the deal.
Right.
So apparently, and you can't get a straight answer, unfortunately, a lot of times with these things, because everyone's holding their cards close to their chest. But they were, I'll say, displeased or concerned that some people were getting tanks and not making content, which I understand.
Yeah.
Right? You're
Okay,
given
fair enough.
given your CC stuff, and some people are AWOL. They just take the tank and hey, thanks very much, free tank, and they don't make any daggum content on it. They're
Yeah.
I got no problem with that. Like if
Yeah.
you don't make content, you probably shouldn't be getting the tank, unless
Yeah.
maybe your content is such that it's not about that kind of stuff and its worth is enough to the company that they don't care. So there's a lot going on there, right? They get to determine what that is.
Yeah.
But for me, now having to go through a damn press account and all that BS, I'm just not
Well,
interested.
it's almost tying you into to do it within a given time frame and do it in the way that they would like it to be done. So I guess
Yeah, so that's a good way to characterize it, and to a large extent, it's hoops that you would make an employee jump through, or somebody that you're paying outright,
they are
right?
They are.
So you're comping me some stuff as a symbiotic relationship. This new process is more like being an employee, and you can take, and I'm sorry, but you can take your Excel spreadsheets and that kind of stuff and not interested,
Yeah.
right? I'm not running on a timeline and filling out. See, that's what your employees do. I have a whole
Yeah.
I have a
exactly.
whole
Exactly.
belly I have a whole belly full of large organizations pushing stuff down to lower levels and calling it efficiency, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
I no longer do all this because I pushed it down to another level so they can fill out the paperwork and do that crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I have had prime examples of that when I left the military and joined a civilian organisation. I love the fact that they come to you on a Friday and they say, this thing needs doing by Monday 8 o'clock. How you get it done between now and Monday 8 o'clock is down to you. So it's like pushing you to come in on the weekend and do weekend work.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they're saying they want it 8 o'clock Monday, but they're giving you it on Friday at 4 o'clock. You're like, really? Well, that ain't happening, bud.
Yeah, and then in the same breath they're like, but you don't have to come on the weekend because you have your weekends.
There you go. Yeah, we're not telling you to come in the weekend.
Yeah, we're not
telling
we
you
didn't
for 8 o'clock Monday.
You came on the weekend on your own accord. That's not
Exactly.
that's not our fault.
Yeah. Well, I've got to an age now where I'm quite confident to go, do you know what, buddy? It's not happening. So if you want it for Monday at 8 o'clock, it looks like you're coming in to do it, not me.
So slow. Here's my counter to that. Absolutely, 100% not my job.
Yes, there you go.
Right? Not my job, man. Not my job. I don't get enough out of it to do their metrics. So that's, yeah. If they can't collect those by watching the channels or paying attention to what's going on, not my problem. If that means I don't get the content, I get it. That's their process, right? I can't force anything. I have no power here. I do not have the power. So and it's like I've said a million times, it's my personal problem. It's where I am, and I know that there are people who will do it, which is fine. Good on them, man. If you want to fill it out. And the argument with this stuff always is, and I've, again, 30 odd years of working in a large organization, the U.S. Air Force, and for the government. The argument is always, what are you pissing and moaning about? It's such a small thing. Right? It's always that. It's always that
so annoying
stupid
that,
argument.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I am
really is
full
so
up to here of everyone's little small thing.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
And my other issue with it is that's not how it was. And I get it that things change. That's noted. And I get it that sometimes, companies have to make things maybe a little more difficult because they need stuff like their numbers. They probably have less people working there. In fact, I know they do because they've been reorganizing. So they have to do something to figure out how to do this. But I don't have to like it. And that's not how it was in the past. And my other issue with it is there hasn't been any communication on this stuff. It's kind of just slowly leaked into this way. Then we just sort of got a briefing on it, and they kind of finally structured it. So now what they've been doing is more or less known. But before that, it just sort of crept in. So the whole thing has left a sour taste in my mouth, to be honest. And it's nothing. It's nothing against any of the people there or the person personally. It's just
No, but it's a corporate decision making process, and this is the other thing that I found. Yeah, absolutely, just around midnight. My weekend is for me. Anyway, coming back to it, one of the things I found about coming out of the military and working in the civilian sector is the lack of communication in the civilian sector between the designers, the project runners, the managers, and the people they expect to do it. They either feed it in, like you said, drip, 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 until it becomes the norm,
yeah.
or they just decree something at the end of a particular day and go, as of now, it's going to be like this. No communication.
Well, because they don't. They're always so worried about hurting someone's feelings or whatever,
Yeah.
or they don't want to. They don't want the adversarial piece of it to come out where they say, "Look, here's the deal. Here's the reasons why we're doing it this way."
Yeah.
Right? It's always this kind of, oh, in this situation in particular, initially, especially a year ago or so, it's like, oh no, we're not changing anything. It's not. Well, clearly I can see it's changing. You've just told me to do this thing that I've never had, so it's changing. Care to tell me why, or what is the process?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
so don't gaslight me through this thing and then
No.
tell me it's not.
Yeah, exactly. But that's inherent in every company that I've ever worked for. That seems to be the go-to procedure.
Yeah.
And no, to tell a lie, there was one company I worked for, a well-known retail company. I worked in their logistics. They were very good at communicating, but only to a certain level. So
Yeah.
they were, which is fine. They would get it down to like team leader level, so you would get detailed explanations and communication about things, and then they left, which is a good thing. They let the team leaders then tell the teams and interpret how they want it, as long as the job got done. And that's the only time I've come across it in, how long have I been out? 2006.
Well, I'm also not a believer in the magic communication fairy who comes in and somebody perfectly communicates and everybody's happy. That's
that doesn't
not
happen,
reality either. There's always some goofball that's gonna miss the information or misinterpret or whatever. It's a process and it keeps on. It has to keep on going. So there you go. Again, not mad. It's just a commentary on the passing scene and what my opinion of it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
And come on. Anyway.
On to tanks.
On the tank.
I should stop. Apparently, I am mad about it because I yap about it a lot, don't I?
Well, I think you have a concern. Should we say you have a concern?
I'm a cry-ass whiner. That's what I am. There's a Tier 9 promotional. This is interesting. It's M48A2 with a 120 on it, and you will note that it's got a Tuma. It's not a Tuma.
No, but the 120 could be handy, couldn't it?
It's not a Tuma. So it's a Tier 9. Detailed stats. Let's see what it says. Tier 9, so what? Battle Pass, maybe?
Possibly.
Possible Battle Pass or a Clan Wars or an Onslaught or a Marathon. Yeah, maybe it says promotional. It doesn't say premium, but that could change, I guess. Anywho, what has it got? It's got 400 alpha, 242 pen with a 300 gold round, probably heat, 11.22 reload, minus 10 gun depression, aim at 2.4, accuracy kind of crap at 2.38. These are early numbers, obviously. DPM 2139, 154 hole and 203 turret. That's not much, but it is angled. It's got a pretty decently angled front. It looks like maybe the T-54 E1 kind of turret idea.
Right, okay.
What's its speed? 40, so not super fast for a medium. There you have it, 380 on the view range. So that's out floating about. We have...
Do you think that's a possibility for a marathon then? It doesn't look.
Maybe.
Maybe we're spoiled, but it seems to me marathons tend to have those, dare I say it, OP tanks.
Yeah.
To encourage people to do the marathon, or to spend the last third, in real money.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you. There's so many of these out there, and now there's so many different ways to do it. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Ducati runs on the mushroom policy. That's right. Sit in the dark and eat bullshit. Yep.
Yeah, that's good.
Future Super Conqueror nerfs and more frequent vehicle rebalances. I thought this was interesting. It seems Wargaming wants to switch to a more frequent rebalance, so iterative process we've talked about for years,
Right.
which they should have been doing the whole time. Thus, developers want to
That'll be
see a
interesting.
relatively frequent meta change.
Yeah.
We're considering changing almost all tanks in the game. Why not just say all? I don't get that almost. We are considering changing tanks in the game, all or something like all tanks. All tanks. Yeah, just we're considering all tanks for changes. Why? I don't understand the qualifier almost. What's the point of that?
I don't know. It's probably because there's one tank they're not considering.
The considering is the qualifier that matters because
Yeah.
that means that we considered it and we didn't. But so you leave yourself room if you say all tanks. I know it's a small thing, but that makes some people go, "Ooh, there's some tanks they'll never touch." Well, maybe, I don't know.
There you go. 8 Hussars has it on the nail. Anything you pay for, they're not
Right.
going to touch, are they?
Yeah, that's what I'm
There
talking
you
about. As mentioned earlier, balance changes will occur more frequently. Good. Super Conqueror is currently probably the best tier 10 tech tree in the game, so its potential nerf shouldn't surprise anyone. Is it though?
Is it though?
Okay, tier 10. Let's go EU where there's more sample 5. Oh, we have tier 10. And we have medium. Oh, what happened? Stop it. Tier 10. Medium. Heavies, never mind. It's a heavy.
So true, Carl.
Well, its win rate is the top tech tree. Some of these other tanks are low sample sizes. As of right now, the object and the chieftain are there, but they've just been nerfed, so we'll see where they go.
I think they'll move. I think there'll be an awful lot of battles to be played before they even move slightly.
KPZ seems to be better, and it is played just as much. It is played just as much. Although its win 8 is a little lower, its win rate slightly higher. That's basically the same. There's not a whole lot of difference there. VZ got hit. It was interesting that the VZ got hit and the Super Conqueror didn't.
For now,
So I guess I would agree in principle with that comment, because some of the other ones up there are real low sample sizes and owned by only very good players. So it could be. Yeah, the KPZ seems to be a pretty good tank in random battles. I haven't messed with it yet. It's actually on my list down here on my priority tank, so I'll get to it soon. Alrighty then, let's see what else we got. I think we're coming to the end, my friend. Oh, the Asia. What are the two servers? I think it's a Hong Kong server and the. What is the other one? HK and ANZ
yeah.
are going to get a single cloud-based server, Asia 1, on September 11th. So, I'm assuming that affects.
Didn't they say that about EU and NA at some point?
No, and that's important,
It's
guys.
just the Asian one.
No,
Yeah.
no. So that article was talking about making one client,
Ah, right.
which is
okay,
awesome because
yeah.
I'd love to free up 90 gig or so of room so I don't have to have the
Yeah.
EU client sitting on my computer. That would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So basically, from the Philippines, World Tanks is lagging. Oh, that sucks, man. EPC.
Yeah.
Which server is that? Or have they already September 11th? They haven't done that yet. Are you trying to play on HK? I guess Philippines is bad to either one of them. All the time and effort it takes to grind tech needs a huge nerf. The game is still way too grindy. You mean it needs to be faster? So you're using Hong Kong, okay.
Well, I think EPC, if you look at EU servers, the EU1 and EU2, they've regularly got 50k online. 50k plus. And then there's 4 EU servers because the other 2 are now over in Russia.
The US is only 7 to 15, sometimes
Yeah.
maybe approaching 20. On at one time anyway. I think it's yeah, I'm with Cliffy. I think the grind is too fast, and my now the problem with me saying that, it's not a problem, but let's say the situation. context, it's a better word, is I have all the tanks. I have a lot of resources. So it only took me 17 games to get through the tier 5 Russian wheeled tank. It only took me 17 games to get through the tier 6. Now I'm on the tier 7, and we'll see how long that one takes me. It's going to be a little bit longer, obviously, because I have to get to 96,000. Where am I right now? Scheme A, I've played 4 games, I think. Yeah. So I'm 4 games into it. I did have to unlock the last gun. So that's not grinding through modules. If you have a lot of free experience, you can get faster. So anyway, there's a lot of things you can do to cruise through. So if you're at the end game like me, the grinds are super fast. Probably if you're just starting, they seem very slow. I don't know how you fix that. You know what I mean? That's not going to be easy. Oh, look at this. G.A. Johnny, Cliffy. I'm number 6 on my own stream. How does that work?
I don't know.
How am I not number 1? That's weird. All right. Jayhawk. I haven't seen Jayhawk in a dog's age, man. Commander Root, I think, is a bot. Commander Root's representing at 10, though. The bots are coming alive. And that's
You're
that,
only 4
guys.
higher than a bot.
I'm only 4 higher than a bot. I am a bot, essentially. And that is everything I know, guys.
Today.
Everything I know today.
Be different tomorrow.
Tomorrow I'll know less, probably, because
Less.
as I get older, I forget what I already knew. And I seem to only forget the correct things and remember the incorrect things.
That's the one.
Yeah,
That's the one.
that is the one. All right.
I'm going to go off and play this AEC and try and grind it up to the 6, 7, 8 today. I'm definitely trying to get to 7 anyway today.
If you come up with a idea of what its identity is, let me know.
Yeah. I think I might play it like artillery.
Fast Red Horse
Keep
said,
firing in the air.
"Oh, you're just going to try to lob it over the map? That's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
a bad idea."
I'll sit in the red line and just keep lobbing it over into known positions where the enemy hang out on each map. Never know. But at the end, when you get your card at the end, and you can see the damage racked up, you'll know if you've hit anything, won't you?
If you did that for an entire game, Pilgrim, could you really tell the difference between that game and the one where you tried?
No, not at all. That's exactly how I operate. I just randomly fire. Oh, what's that bush? Boom. What's that one over there? Boom. Oh, look at that. Yeah, there's a tree. Boom.
I was playing the Staghound, I think, and I'm like, "Ooh, this thing's pretty fast," and it was on Fisherman's Bay. So in the middle, there was a guy hiding behind a building, and I knew there was a couple snipers, but I figured I'd zip around there like an EBR would.
No. You couldn't get the turning.
I couldn't get
to going fast.
I came too close to the building. I tried to turn, and my turret wasn't tracking. I'm like, "Oh no!" And then I got hit. And it's only got 4 wheels, so when it loses one wheel, it really shaves it up. So now I'm doing like 20 kilometers an hour. I'm like, "Oh!" And I'm furiously smashing 4, but I've already used my kit. I'm like, "This was a poorly conceived plan."
Yeah, this is not going the way it should do. Somebody needs to have a word.
I was like, "I'm just kidding," and then I went back to garage because
Yeah.
they took care of it. And guess what? I didn't kill. I didn't kill the one shot that I was trying to kill.
You didn't.
No,
You
because
probably would have been better off ramming it, wouldn't you?
also they light on fire a lot.
Oh, did they burn a lot?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I might change some of the parameters on this thing to put a fire extinguisher on them.
Oh,
yeah.
Brute! I like it. I like it. Yeah, very nice. That sounds. Which 2 gangs of men are you going to go see? Do they have funny names? Zemke, thanks, man. Much appreciated.
Yeah.
Oh, Brute's further north, right? You're not in Jacksonville, are you? What? Orange ones and the black and silver. Well, the black and silver must be the Las Vegas crew. Orange ones. Which ones are orange? Oh,
Broncos and Raiders.
Either the Browns and those orange ones, the Broncos ones. Nice. So the horses and the Pirates. Got the horse guys and the pirate guys taking on each other.
Well, that'll be an interesting.
Oh, I thought you were on the East Coast. I didn't know you were near Sea Springs. Nice. That's a great place to retire. Cool. All right, so up to Denver, huh? Nice. How far a drive is that for you? Must not be too far since you haven't left yet. The Lions definitely did their thing, taking down KC. That was awesome. That was awesome. And I'm glad so fantasy football, I'm doing that again. I'm glad I didn't play, what's his face for the Lions, whose name has just escaped me for some reason. Worst pick six ever. Yep. I'm glad I didn't play that guy because he didn't do so great. Goff, there he is. But I did stick with Burrow, which is a bit of a roll in the dice because he sort of going into this game hurt. He's probably one hit from getting knocked out. You're here for Pilgrim? Most everyone is.
Yes,
most
thank you,
everyone
my
is.
17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for the truth bomb there.
Harry said he thought he was talking about wrestling. When he started talking about Men in Tights, I started to think he was being taken to watch Robin Hood. I really thought it was Robin Hood he was going to watch.
That's the Lost Boys against the Pirates on that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not far off. Broncos are sort of the Lost Boys at this point. Honestly. They're struggle busing the last few years. All right, my friends. Thanks for coming by. Let's go find somebody to raid. And I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Let's go raid Stewie down under, man. Let's go see how Stewie's doing. All right, guys, gonna go raid Stewie. Thanks. Hey, thanks a million for the subs. Did really well today with that. That's much appreciated. And the bits and the hanging out, the questions. Had a really good time today, so I needed that. I appreciate it. Pilgrim, thanks for coming as always, my friend.
Pleasure.
Unfortunately, no coffee talk next week.
Busy man.
I'm going to Gainesville, so it's parents' weekend at the university, so I've got to go to Gainesville and hang out with the daughter. So family first.
Can I ask you a question
Sure.
about Parents' Weekend before we go? Very quickly.
Yeah.
When you go on your Parents' Weekend and you go into the classroom with your son or daughter's tutor, do they make you sit on the kids' chairs so you're like 6 feet below them?
It's
Yeah,
college.
they tried that. Well, it's a college, yeah. College.
Yeah.
But when they were little.
Oh yeah, you did that when they were little.
Oh,
Wait, you don't go
used to sit on the kids' chair.
We go on Friday,
Then
so there's
the
no
teacher
class.
looks down at you, talks down at you.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'll stand, thank you.
Yeah.
No, I ain't sitting on that. Anyway.
Yeah, so you go on a Friday. Usually people go to the game. I'm not going. They're playing Tennessee, I believe, that weekend, which is going to be a big game. But I didn't feel like spending $300 for tickets when I can go watch it in a bar with some food.
$300?
Oh, my buddy just went to the Alabama game where they lost, and he spent $350 per ticket.
Joking, man.
Yeah.
That is criminal.
Yep.
That is criminal.
Yeah, Cliffy, that's the other problem. If I thought maybe they'd win, maybe I'd think about it. But oof, no, thank you. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, Riley.
Yeah.
That's like,
Yep.
I don't know, that's almost, well, that's about 3 or 4 games of soccer.
Well, I'm hoping to avoid the worst part about it is the last 3 years, I guess this will be the 4th year. We've gone and stood around in a frat because the frats will open them up and all the sorority girls can come in. They do that anyway on game day. And my daughter wanted me to go see the whole thing and it dragged me around. I'm like, dude, I am 50-something years old. I do not want to go stand around in a frat for an hour. I'm like, this
People
is
drinking Bud Light.
worse than Bud Light. Worse.
No, there is nothing worse than Bud Light.
There is, and they have it here.
Oh, gosh, no.
It's, oh. But, you know, she wanted me to meet her friends and show me the campus stuff. But I'm like, all right, we've done that for 3 years. Is there any way we could not? Natty Light is exactly right. That's what it is.
Yeah,
and then those stupid cooler, those White Claws or whatever. Cheap White Claws.
Great. No.
I am so slow. Yep, I am in Florida. Yeah, I don't drink it. I drink good beer, but anywho, all right, my friends, here we go. Starting the raid. As I said, thanks for coming by. You guys have a good rest of your weekend here on a Sunday. No coffee talk next week. Hopefully get a stream in maybe this week. We'll see what happens. Otherwise, we will see you. Guido signing off from the left side of the Atlantic.
Pilgrim signing off from the correct side of the Atlantic, sir.
See ya.